musicians and their athletes to keep that up going.
Yes.
Right? These guys are used to playing to sellout crowds, but they are known for keeping nearly 50,000 fans in their seats after the game for their famous fifth quarter performance.
I can speak to that. I attended a game at Camp Randall Stadium, the 80,000+ people there. Not only do they keep them in their seats after the game, they get them out of their seats between the third and fourth quarter. If anybody has ever seen a Badger game, they know this whole story about the song Jump Around by House of Pain from 1989. The energy the Wisconsin Badgers football fans bring to the game is just unbelievable. And you can see this band carries that same energy forward. It is, I can tell you, the Rose Bowl game today is going to be a clash between two very good teams and two remarkable schools with a lot of team and school spirit and pride.
And fans really showing up and being active participants in this party.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
It's Just the Music over at our band camp. Don't forget, just go to our Facebook page. You can appreciate all of this.
Well, if you're looking to get your fill of art and literature while enjoying acres of themed gardens, then this float is here to remind you of where you need to be. The Huntington Library. Also the winner of the Golden State Trophy for most outstanding depiction of life in California. This year marks the institution's 100th year anniversary. And the title of this float is Cultivating Curiosity. It's just a sneak preview of some of their treasures.
Let me give you some detail, if I may. Eucalyptus leaves and lettuce seed make up the roof of the Chinese Garden Temple, which is a very familiar sight there at the Huntington. That larger-than-life manuscript is Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, another Huntington trophy. This one, isn't that beautiful? It's done in white powdered rice and gray poppy seed. They brought in a fine detail artist to help execute this, and that's one of the most beloved portraits at the Huntington. It's Breakfast in Bed by American Impressionist Mary Cassatt. The original from 1897, rather. That is a florograph. It's framed in dark brown coffee. So if you're a lover of the arts, of botanicals or books, and you've never been to the Huntington, you are just missing out on one of Southern California's greatest hidden gems. It's spectacular.
Yeah, if you get a chance to see at the back of this, there's what's known as the rare and stinky corpse flower, which blooms, and they've had some smoke coming out of it to give the illusion that there's some odor coming out. But however, there are 9 blooms that have come out in the Huntington, and they've shared the flower seeds and the pollen with botanical gardens all across the country. Let's see if we'll see any of that green smoke coming out. But
we just know them as the stinky flower.
Yeah, the stinky flower. It's the stinky flower. Yes.
Beautiful float.
I love that corner shot.
This corner shot is awe-inspiring, and it gives you a real indication of the formation and the detail and how these bands have really had to practice to make this presentation for you today. And I say, pura vida, this is the Banda Municipal de Zarcero from Costa Rica.
Very good.
The band, we'll see. The band got their start in 2008. The idea from this band was simply to provide all the people of Zarcero an opportunity to develop their artistic skills, and it was really done in hopes of driving them away from drugs. So today, students at the music school are able to participate in both the symphony orchestra and the marching band, and we hear a lot about that, how important these activities are for kids in terms of helping them find purpose in life and direction in life and not being distracted by things that they shouldn't be doing.
Exactly. And as you saw that corner shot, as they come around the corner, you can't help but think the people on the inside of that turn take one step, while the ones on the outside of that turn need to make up for that by taking about 8. So here they come around that corner, a large group indeed.
The colors you're seeing from them today, by the way, stand for strength, peace, and elegance. Welcome to Pasadena, Banda Municipal de Zarcero. band members have to travel, as we said, a long way to get together to practice. So the local businesses in Sarcero, though, have been booming. And the president of Costa Rica, Mark, has even praised the band. He said, look, you've helped to boost the economy of this city. It's like 4,300 people, and they're all into you.
Well, there seems to be almost 4,300 band members. It's a large band, actually. Actually, somewhere around 250 or 60 or so involved in this. Some are playing instruments, others are part of the color. But regardless, they have definitely added something to the community, whether that boils down to an economic boost or just the spirit. It all comes out positive in the end. That there's going to be several international bands performing. This is one of those, and it's really nice, I think, for as families sit back and enjoy this, to see the customs and the traditions of others around the world who have come here to share their beliefs and their customs with us.
Yeah, and the band communities are very close. They love to get together. They have Band Fest before this, and they really do represent the pride of their communities. Look at the smiles.
Yes. We should say, so we are grateful for all of our partnerships with the Pasadena Tournament of Roses. You can show your love, and we invite you to do so for the 935 volunteers on Instagram using the hashtag Rose Parade. All right, up next, the winner of the Mayor Trophy for Most Outstanding Float from a participating city. This is our second tribute to the passing of the 19th Amendment, Victory at Last. This is one of those self-built floats from South Pasadena. It brings us the highlights, a scroll and pen of sycamore leaves to sign that right to vote. The purple hat is fashioned from blueberry roses, button ribbons, and the jewelry signify the times of the course. In the ballot box of flax leaves for all those hopeful votes that were cast. South Pasadena shines a light on women's accomplishments and peaceful struggle for women's equality and justice.
It's a very big year for powerful women, from our opening performance to our floats commemorating the 19th Amendment to this woman who is our president. Following that float, it's appropriate that this year's president, Laura Farber, there. Hey, Laura, we love her. She is the 131st Rose Parade president. As we said at the top, the first Latina in our history and only the third female. You often see her wearing red. That's a strength power color. It's a celebration color. She's originally from Argentina, and hers was the choice of the theme, the power of hope. She says it was inspired by her own experiences as an immigrant. So there in the car you see her husband, Tomas Lopez, and their two children. Say hello to Christopher and Jessica, and also her mom and dad. This is lovely. That's a beautiful 1911 Rolls Royce. Thanks, Laura.
This next band is comprised of students from 3 different high schools to form one cohesive unit, and they are local from Monterey Park, San Gabriel, and Alhambra, California. Here's the Alhambra Unified School District Marching Band. This band moment is thanks to our friends at Carl's Jr. This music group is open to all levels and abilities, and there are no prerequisites, something I love about this band. A special year for Alhambra, as you saw our Rose Parade president, Laura Farber, who is an alumna of the Alhambra Unified School District.
Well, here comes a happy locomotive chugging down along Colorado Boulevard, inspired by Gabriel Gonzalez, who is a 4th grader at Anieta Montessori in Alhambra. The title is Hope Keeps Us Going, and it was the winning design by this young artist who submitted his float design into a contest that was held by the city amongst all elementary school students. Now, the train's nose is made of cranberries, orange lentils, kidney beans, green Commodore ferns, and cocoa sticks with powdered rice, which can be seen all around his smile. Another lovely float from the city of Alhambra, for this is its 92nd entry into the Rose Parade. We'll Gabriel submitted his design. His quote was, "The power of hope makes you motivated to overcome obstacles in life. Like a train, the power of hope keeps us going."
And these colorful and authentic equestrians you see now are from Pasadena's neighboring city of Altadena, the Los Hermanos Bañuelos Charro team. These gentlemen echo the traditions of Mexican horsemen. A charro participates in the charreria. That's the national sport of Mexico, which involves horse riding, roping, and cattle handling. These brothers perform rope and horse tricks, from dancing and prancing to spinning lassos. And most of the riders that you see here today have inherited their love of the sport from multiple generations before them. They're riding American quarter horses, Andalusians, Frisians, and Aztecas. Beautiful custom-made suits with embroidery and silver decorations give them that regal Mexican flair. How they do that, I will never know.
I will tell you, it's remarkable to see how those horses, how well behaved and trained they are. Spectacular. All right, so we are halfway through this parade.
And at our halftime, we are doing something this year that we've never done before. Halftime.
Yeah, what's halftime?
That sports analogy,
yeah, right?
We're having a performance for you.
Yeah. We got a feeling you're going to recognize somebody or a few people from this performance. Take a look.
Enjoy.
Disney's hit musical Frozen is melting hearts on Broadway and across the country in a spectacular production that's pure Broadway joy. Here to perform for the first time in forever is the North American tour cast of Frozen.
It's Coronation Day! The window is open, so's that door. I didn't know they did that anymore. And there's two nice ladies helping me get dressed. Thank you, thanks. For years I've roamed these empty halls. Why have a ballroom with no balls? Coronation Day is just the best. There'll be actual real-life people. Hi, it'll be totally strange. I love your hat. Wow, am I so ready for this change? For the first time in forever, there'll be music, there'll be lights. For the first time in forever, I'll be dancing through the night. Don't know if I'm elated or gassy, woo, but I'm somewhere in that zone. 'Cause for the first time in forever, I won't be alone. Woo! Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, put on a show. Make one wrong move and everyone will know. But it's only for today. It's only for today. It's agony to wait. Tell the guards to open up the gate. For the first time. Tomorrow, so it has to be today. 'Cause for the first time in forever, for the first time in forever, nothing's in my
Yes.
That is so fantastic. I can imagine your daughter is probably freaking out right now.
My 2.5-year-old. Let me tell you, that is not the last time I will see that clip of video played over and over and over again in my house. Micah, that was spectacular.
Hey, how is that for a halftime show? And a reminder, you can catch Frozen, the hit Broadway musical, at the famed Hollywood Pantages Theater in Los Angeles through February 2nd. Mark, I think I know where I'm going to find you.
I say we do this every year. That's a great tradition to start. Disney has got it going on.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Parker Rose is going bananas at home right now.
Hi, Parker.
I love you, honey. Okay, let's keep going. The Bob Hope Humor Trophy Award winner for most whimsical and amusing float is here. The La Cañada Flintridge Dodo Bird Flight School is a wonderful representation of this group. By the way, if you look at this, it's not just one. There are 2 floats. That little satellite float that's out front, this is one of the 6 floats that are classified as self-built, so they've actually built 2, and they've done it by themselves. Earth's flightless birds have banded together for a great blimp adventure commanded by the dodo bird.
So cute. There's a lot going on here. The birds are ready to attempt the impossible with rotating rock bands, flapping wings, and a swaying penguin chorus. The bird's feet are made from pine cone pieces and poppy seed. Yellow split pea and paprika accents give their beaks a very realistic look. It's just amazing to me, these materials, how they come to life here. The goal for La Cañada Flintridge is always animated, humorous, whimsical. Once again, they hit the mark this year. Congratulations on the Bob Hope Trophy.
You know, they've won 30 awards. They've been in this parade 42 times, and they have won 30 awards, and they're self-built.
Okay, look, more for Parker Rose and every other person that loves Disney. Here's the Frozen sleigh with the cast, at least the human characters in the cast. You know, they are so universally loved, and this is what Disney does. They take their movies, they turn them into Broadway musicals like Frozen is now. They've done this 9 other times. From Tarzan and Mary Poppins, The Little Mermaid, it's just spectacular. And how for Frozen, they actually create ice in the theater, Mark.
All I'm thinking right now is Elsa and Anna are in Parker's crib every night. She will not go to sleep unless she has her little dolls in there. But yes, they do. They do that very well. I don't know if you mentioned the Mary Poppins and Tarzan and Little Mermaid, but all of them have gone on to become big stage performances. All right, so if you were here in Pasadena on New Year's Day morning 131 years ago, well, you would be pretty old right now. But you would also have seen our next entry coming down the boulevard, or a version of that. In 1890, the Valley Hunt Club organized a tournament for Pasadena neighbors and local businesses, and they wanted to show off their city. So people would decorate their horse-drawn carriages with fresh flowers, mostly from their own gardens, on the way to the tournament in sort of a parade-like fashion. And from there, this whole idea of the Rose Parade was born, and the rest, as they say, is history.
And back then there were maybe a couple thousand people watching. Today we have about 37 million people watching us all over the world, from their idea just to say, hey, look, it's cool here. It's beautiful. In California, we want to celebrate our oranges and our flowers, and that's how it started. They charged 25 cents ultimately to get in.
My 2 favorite horse breeds are the Friesians that you see there and the Clydesdale. But, you know, we were going to mention this earlier about the queens. Back then, at the very beginning, the queen had to actually decorate her own horse carriage.
And make her own dress.
And do her own dress as well, right.
Okay, look at this float. You'll see, which is something you don't usually see, which is a truck towing it behind. This is the UPS float. They had some mechanical issues this morning, so they are under tow for the duration of the parade. But guess what? They win the sweepstakes trophy.
Wow.
So congratulations for most beautiful entry, encompassing float design, floral presentation, and entertainment. So everyone's got a story, right? It's what makes us unique. And the UPS store's entry is called Stories Change Our World. It reminds us that the power of literacy helps us imagine a brighter future. The story of these golden tamarins is brought to life with layers of marigold petals, and stems of macara and James Story orchids give these monkeys that rich golden coloring. You've got black seaweed for the toucans with that shiny plumage. Oh, they're so colorful, so beautiful. This is in a Brazilian jungle that's made of Australian wildflowers flower called Banksia, and the exotic Shikong heliconia. I would like for you to call me that in the future.
Sure.
And I'm here with Shikong heliconia.
Hey, say hello to 3 honored guests that are chosen by the Tournament of Roses president. They're here today representing the strength and success of the Latino community. Jaime Jarin is best known as the Spanish voice of the Dodgers. The Ecuadorian-born announcer has been calling Dodger games for more than 60 years. Sonia Manzano is known as an actress, screenwriter, author, speaker, and singer-songwriter, but is best known for playing Maria on Sesame Street. Tell me you don't recognize that face. And of course, Dr. Ellen Ochoa's list of achievements is impressive. First Hispanic female astronaut, first Hispanic woman to direct the Johnson Space Center, and she was inducted into the Astronaut Hall of Fame.
So by planting seeds of hope, the Sikh American Float Association you see there strives to raise awareness about diversity so all children can grow, thrive, and flourish. The Great Peacemaker by Gainaya Singh's beard is decorated in white pampas and gray buffalo grass. His sheepskin vessel is made from palm bark and shiny gray silver leaf. A floral merry-go-round of green tea leaves has children circling in delight. That tree is adorned in walnut shell, coconut, sweet pepper, and coffee. The Sikh American Float Foundation reminds us that building bridges of love, compassion, and understanding creates a nurturing environment, not only for our children, but in fact for each and every one of us.
It is lovely, and all the way from Wisconsin's Dairyland, let's turn up the music here. This is the Greendale High School Marching Band. 1/3 of their entire school student body is in this band. They say they keep that number growing because their mantra is simple. It's just have fun. There are no auditions for the Greendale Marching Band. Everyone is welcome, regardless of musical experience or ability. And look at how professional they sound and how accomplished. Let everybody in, and they do get everybody joining.
There it is. Audrey Hepburn once said, to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. Boy, is that true. That is the inspiration behind Mrs. Meyer's dazzling garden, and that's why they are the Animation Trophy winner for most outstanding use of animation. Everything has come to life in front of us. A spinning umbrella made from ground parsley flakes, yellow straw flour, and brown coffee. There's moving watermelons, brown radish, bowing radishes, and dancing roses. There's a water can, which is a mix of silver leaf, ground white pepper, and poppy seeds. Giant sunflower faces with cheeks of alpha-mums and eyes of white soybeans, all shining brightly. I say go plant yourself a garden.
Representing Big Ten country are the Mid-American Cowgirls Rodeo Drill Team. This is an all-female equestrian team. There are 4 sets, by the way, of mothers and daughters in there today. They're from Three Oaks, Michigan, outfitted in white leather chaps, gloves, and custom-made black cowboy hats with silver stars. And their horses are matched in custom-made tack with silver inlay and Austrian crystals. They're riding a variety of breeds, and we welcome them to the parade.
First responders bring hope. The Oddfellows and Rebecca's honor each and every one of them all across the country. It took a whole lot of red carnations to create that life-size hook and ladder you see there. Orange lentil seeds and large red kidney beans give the truck its signature lights. Tires of black seaweed and hubcaps of shiny gray silver leaf keep the truck looking well cared for. And that banner says it all. First responders, thank you for all of your service. You are true heroes. And on board, some first responders from Maine, Iowa, Nevada, and New York.
You know who's also on board? You see waving there Donna Sanford, I believe, is with her 11-year-old Dutch Shepherd named Kiri. They represent the canine search and rescue teams who help to save lives. We appreciate all our first responders so much. There's the pup.
Yeah.
I think Kiri is retiring this year, so nicely done, Kiri. Look at that face.
But boy, did they provide such a service. Such a service.
I'm sure they're going to get a lot of love as they make their way down the 5.5 miles here today. We welcome you to a brand new year.
Yeah, yes.
They sure do, Mark. I'm Lisa Gibbons.
Mark Steinis, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Pearland marching band with their motto of pride, honor, and success. This band takes two things seriously: performing at their school's Friday night football games and supporting local businesses with their grand openings and celebrations. They are all about community and are ready to support whoever is in need. Let's take a listen, thanks to our friends at Blue Shield of California. Congratulations, Pearland High School Marching Band. Welcome to your first Rose Parade, all 342 members of this band. You know, back in 2017, Pearland, Texas was devastated by Hurricane Harvey, and the Pearland High School Band organized the band home as a clothing drive center for the relief shelter. They've done so much wonderful work in their community, and now they're sharing their love of community with all of us here in Southern California and around the world. You can feel it. This year's first Latino Rose Parade president, the band will be playing Kool and the Gang's Celebration. You might hear it now. I hope you do. I know I do. Also later on, Get on Your Feet by Gloria Estefan.
I'm very excited about this one, Mark and Micah. If you've ever felt like your home is your castle, you can relate to this float. The SCAN Foundation honors all caregivers who help older adults realize their dream to remain in their home. And the idea was simple. Let's jumpstart the conversation about getting older and honoring the everyday heroes who defend the dignity and independence of our loved ones. Mark, as you know, this is very close to my heart. It's what we do at our nonprofit Lisa's Care Connection. We try to offer support to these families who are on a very difficult journey. And they have just shown this so beautifully with their float, because caregivers don't often identify, but there are 41 million of them in this country alone. Many of you are watching today. You are the glue that holds everything together.
You know, your passion for that is the passion that I have for these little guys as well. Therapy animals of all types. This group is from Calabasas, California. Our next entry might be small in stature, but they more than make up for it in heart. Mighty and powerful, these little guys bring a whole lot of hope, comfort, and smiles to children and adults throughout Southern California. Led by Marshal Victoria Nodif-Netanel, these tiny titans do their best work, visiting hospitals, visiting children there who have undergone difficult medical procedures. These miniature horses, by the way, are full of tricks, all sorts of them. They're good spirit, delighting audiences. They stand on their hind legs, they smile, they play the keyboard with their muzzles, no doubt.
Sliding and swinging down Colorado Boulevard now is Fezzy the Bear and his friends from Shriners Hospital with their float Hope Knows No Limits. Here's the scene. It's a carefree day at the playground, and that lovable bear is covered in mums and lima beans. His playmate's face is made from a mixture of spices. They say it's a secret recipe. No one will really tell us how they do it. Her long eyelashes are constructed from black buffalo grass, and shiny gray silver leaf is what gives her prosthetic leg very realistic look. They tell us that for them, hope guides everything. Through their specialty care and research for children, Shriners believe in the endless possibilities in life. Waving to us from the float there are Shriner staff and some of the ambassadors. We thank you for such great work. Hi.
I think it's such a wonderful statement to having that child represented there with a prosthetic leg.
That's important for so many people watching who want to see themselves, and especially
inclusion. Yes.
Yeah, the work that we do and to destigmatize and create universal acceptance is important. And the Rose Parade is doing that this year, I think, particularly well because of the theme, the power of hope. You know, there's hope in the faces of every spectator, and certainly the bands and the equestrians and the floats and all the people that put such care into, you know, gluing on a tiny little lentil seed,
yes,
a lima bean. You know, they go, that's what I did coming down the boulevard.
And they do that year after year after year. The people that we met in those float barns would have pins from dating back, you know, 20 years that they come and they give up all of their free time. All right. right, here comes a band in green, white, and silver. This is Centenaria Banda Colio from the University of Puerto Rico, Mayuez. This Campos. This band got its start more than 100 years ago. You see them coming around the corner. There's about 155 members strong. Wonderful band, another one of those international bands that we spoke of that are here today to not only present their colors and their talents, but to bring their culture to share with us on what is this first day of a brand new decade and a brand new year. Let's take a listen in. This group first was established in 1914. Well, not this particular group, but the band was established then, and they were created as part of the university's Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps. I love the rich history behind so many of these bands. There's a tradition that goes on for decades. The color guard was added in 1981, giving the band a very vibrant performance that included dance.
You know, this band, again, represents hope because it's been a couple of years now since Hurricane Maria tore through Puerto Rico. And while the island continues to rebuild, the band community really pulled together. They did everything they could in order to make sure that this band could perform for all of you here today. That is a lot of pride.
Yeah, you know, many of the tuba players and percussionists took their instruments home with them because they were so important to them. They wanted to keep them safe, and fortunately that was the right choice because the band's storage and rehearsal rooms were severely damaged by that hurricane, and in essence they saved their instruments from that hurricane.
Kalahiki Ola! It is the dawning of a new day. And on this New Year's Day, you are looking at a President's Trophy for most outstanding use and presentation of flowers. Sierra Madre reminds us that with every sunrise, life offers opportunity, and it's up to us to make the most of it. What a better way to start 2020 than in a Hawaiian paradise, complete with rotating tikis made of redwood bark and magnolia leaf, and decorated in annatto seeds and dried goji berries. Tropic birds of coconut flakes and nigella glide through the air above the swaying hula dancers. Sierra Madre is one of those long-standing participants we have in our Rose Parade. This year marks their 88th appearance, Mark.
9 times out of 10, I will tell you this next group is my favorite.
Oh, you say that all the time.
I do, but it's true. The Budweiser Clydesdales here. You know, they're massive, beautiful. They were first introduced into the U.S. more than 150 years ago and chosen as Budweiser's mascot to celebrate the end of Prohibition. That was in 1923. Now, listen to this. To qualify to be a world-famous 8-horse hitch on one of the Budweiser Clydesdales, you have to meet requirements. You first have to be 4 years old, stand 6 feet tall at the shoulder, have a brown bay coat, 4 white stockings, a white blaze down their face, and a black mane and tail. But most importantly, above all of that, they have to have a very gentle temperament.
Boy, are they beautiful. They make me feel short, and I thought I was a tall guy. Hey, with their sleek and sophisticated design for this year's Rose Parade, Dole Packaged Foods continues their commitment to helping build a better world and delivers sunshine for all. They've also delivered a winner, the Queen Trophy for Most Outstanding Presentation of Roses. A vibrant rising sun is filled with more than 60,000 roses and carnations in ombre colors. Its outer edges are crafted in crisp white coconut with cascading waterfalls into a tropical garden of protea, banksia, and ginger. This great spectacle of sun here to remind us that Dole is about putting health and well-being within reach of people around the world.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. In 2020, drive strong from start to finish all year long. Happy New Year from Goodyear. More driven.
With uniforms resembling the 19th century royal guards of the Hawaiian Kingdom, here are the Kamehameha Warrior Marching Band and Color Guard from Hawaii. We have a band moment today brought to you thanks to Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Listen in. students at this private school are of Hawaiian ancestry. They've got 3 campuses across the islands of Oahu, Maui, and Hawaii.
You know, because they are from Hawaii, they're probably the only people here who are saying, ooh, it's chilly today.
Right. And it's warming up, so you'll see a lot of people in the crowds taking those coats off.
All right, making their 65th year participating in the Rose Parade. This is the city of Torrance, California, with our Garden of Hope, Hopes and Dreams, and the winner of the Princess Trophy for most outstanding floral presentation among entries 35 feet under in length. This tranquil Japanese setting is crafted after a real pine wind garden, the real pine wind garden, which sits at the heart of Torrance's cultural center. Tranquil stone lanterns, or tories as they're called, and rocks are given that granite look with black poppy and gray lettuce seed. Gradients of blue iris, delphinium, and hydrangea create the ebb and flow of the pond from the real waterfalls, the very real waterfalls, in this majestic setting. Those koi fish, by the way, are constructed of orange and yellow lentils and black chive seeds.
This next group looks like they stepped out of a royal pageant. It's the Scripps Miramar Ranch, led by their marshal, Michelle McFarland. This year, the riders have luxurious capes and gold crowns on. The horses march in custom-made saddles with brass ornaments. And if you look there, you could probably see our friend, Carson Presley.
There he is.
There is Carson. He's loving wearing that headpiece, let me tell you. He's riding on his horse named Flurry. He's very passionate about horses, has often been in our parade.
A long time.
These are very beautiful Pinto American saddlebreds. They've been prized throughout history.
All right, we'll say goodbye to Carson, and we'll say hello to Growing a Better Tomorrow. It's more than just a garden. It's Western Asset Management's answer to believing in the power to shape the future. This beautifully abundant garden in full bloom shows off orange roses, red king ginger, curly willows, and trees of green asparagus plumosa, illuminated tiki torches, a pool of irises and gypsophilia, and vibrant colored parrots hint that we are indeed in paradise. Houses built in walnut shell and corn husk make this peaceful spot a perfect place to settle in. The annual float building tradition at Western Asset is a team building project that starts with employees joining together to come up with a design, choosing a name, and even decorating the float itself. Proof that working together to build a better future does indeed inspire beauty. I would love to just climb around in there and float.
Right. I don't know if you can hear the crowd, but they are already loving this band. You know, marching band performances have become something more than musicians in unison. You add a little Louisiana spice to the mix in this one, and you get a performance that knocks it out of the park with a high-knee, back-bending majorette and a cymbal smashing, horn-blasting brass band. This is the Southern University Human Jukebox Marching Band. The Human Jukebox prides itself on executing precision drills like no other marching ensemble. Yes. This makes me happy. It's been 40 years since they've been in our parade. We are so glad they're back. Real crowd pleasers.
I'm sorry, I completely checked out. I just was sitting there watching them.
Oh, man. You know, Kaiser Permanente certainly has a lot to celebrate on this New Year's Day. The Wrigley Legacy Trophy for most outstanding display of floral presentation, float design, and entertainment. Kaiser also celebrating 75 years with courage to reimagine. Just like Frank Baum, author of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, imagined a world which transcended stereotypes, Kaiser has been committed to reimagining healthcare. So we follow the yellow brick road. The village village chimneys fashioned from dehydrated carrots and red bell peppers. The Emerald City in all its green Galax glory shines bright at the end of the path. And Toto, look at that, with the best seat of all, up in the hot air balloon made from dehydrated green onions and parsley flakes. A scarecrow neurologist, a tin woodman cardiologist, a larger-than-life lion representing mental health, and a registered nurse dressed as Dorothy steal the spotlight, don't they?
Oh, love that story. All right, California's beloved Knott's Berry Farm turns 100 years old this year, and Cowboys, the classic stagecoach, a Surrey wagon, and the original horse-drawn buggy that Walter and Cordelia Knott rode around in remind us that this popular theme park was once a small berry farm with wild western roots. Those strapping beauties stealing the show are male thoroughbreds. But of course, we can't forget about Snoopy. Down there somewhere. There's Snoopy. He outshines them all. Happy 100th Knott's Berry Farm.
It's not every day, Mark, that you get to see a giraffe helping a turtle learn to fly. But that's what Kiwanis International is all about this year, helping youth find the wings to soar. Very sweet float. The giraffe's mane is made from palm fiber, and her eyes are made of black beans and walnut shells. And that cute little baby turtle with his pinto bean aviator goggles and little footpaths of halved Brussels sprouts, he is ready to take flight with the help of Kiwanis members there, waving and cheering him on. They're very proud of Kiwanis that this float was decorated in part by members of their Action Club. These are adults with disabilities, one of the many programs that they have. Nicely done.
Well, if a rodeo had a Super Bowl, these Cowboys would be the world champions. The Gold Buckle Brigade is the Cowboy Channel's pride in Western lifestyle and sporting events. Each rider from this elite group is wearing their prestigious Gold Buckle, one earned at the national finals, where they competed in events like bareback riding, the down roping and saddle bronc, and steer wrestling. They are all riding American quarter horses. Very talented. The riders and their horses are wearing rodeo gear and saddles that were worn during their championship competitions. Look at that. Isn't that just a spectacle just to see? You
know, they say that the average equestrian trains 100 hours for this parade, and that the newer horses are typically paired with or wedged between sometimes those more experienced horses to keep them calm, because the distractions are enormous, as you can imagine.
Yes, I mean, there's cameras, there's people there, there's bands playing, loud noises that can happen. There's, whether it's pyrotechnics going off, it doesn't matter.
Make way, Big Apple. After 30 years, rodeo is returning to New York City's Madison Square Garden, and the Cowboy Channel wants to kick off the celebration with Walk, Ride, Rodeo. Fireworks, flags of red kidney beans, and a mechanical bull covered in cowhide put our country's Western heritage front and center. But it is Amberly Snyder, superstar barrel racer, who steals the spotlight with this larger-than-life floral rendition and creme excelsior grass hair, which when we were there when they were building this, the florist art director came in to actually do a personal haircut. So, and it looks amazing. The real Amberly, however, is at the back of this float waving to the crowds, and she is the star of this one and the power of hope, defying the odds. Whoa, yes, a celebration for her and for all of us on this New Year's Day. Thank you, Cowboy Channel, for adding some fireworks to our festivities.
Back to what you were saying about keeping the horses from being spooked.
Exactly.
Right.
That mechanical bull, no problem.
Yeah.
But I do want you to see Amberly, because she defied the odds. She came back to barrel racing after she had a car accident. You could see she's in a chair. She was paralyzed from the waist down, and it happened right after the Rose Parade in 2010, in which she was a participant.
What, 9 days or so right after that? Yeah. And then when she still competes, she's buckled in, strapped on, and she communicates with her horse through her hands, because many times you communicate with your legs, but instead of her legs, she uses her voice and her hands.
Amberly's spirit is contagious. If you are fortunate enough to grow up in the hills of Kingsport, Tennessee, you just may have a shot at playing in the #1 marching band in the state. This is the Dobbins-Bennett High School Marching Band. Let's take a listen, thanks to our friends at Spectrum Mobile. now sends more musicians to the Tennessee All-State Band than any other high school. There are 363 members, as you see from that beautiful aerial view, and a look up close as well. Remember, 5.5 miles these band members march and do their thing. It's physically taxing, but emotionally invigorating for these band members. Such a neat thing to see up close. Tennessee, known as the Volunteer State, a little bit for you history buffs, the nickname originating during the War of 1812, when thousands of Tennesseans enlisted in response to the governor's call for volunteers. You can feel the energy. Dobbins Bennett with the largest band program in all of Tennessee. We can hear him around the world on this New Year's Day.
Anybody need a ride? Amazon Studios is ready to roll out their new dramedy film this winter. It's called Troop Zero. Now, I love messages, and today's parade has got a lot of messages in it. Get ready to join forces with a spunky group of elementary school misfits, led by the courageous Christmas Flint. That's what you could call me, Lisa, is Christmas Flint, because that is her name. She dreams of living in outer space, and to get there, she needs to win the big talent show. So their macaroon, coconut, and celery seed covered bus is more than just a ride. It's a vehicle of force, enhanced by that rocket you see there on the roof. The bursting meteors of yellow and red carnations, and the satellite ahead is covered in silver leaf and straw flower. Amazon's ragtag scout team promises to deliver a family-friendly dramedy about acceptance. The message is of acceptance and the power of friendship. And I'm sure they picked a good show. They did pick a good show for this year's parade theme.
Those are the Girl Scouts from Chino Hills waving, crammed into that bus. They're happy to be here. You know, all of these floats, if you're in the area, they will be parked for the next 3 days. You can actually come see them up close and get a real bird's eye view, a real in-person view of the majesty that goes into this detail.
Yeah, that is going to be from today until 5, and then tomorrow, January 2nd, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. if you want to see those. By the way, that's a real bus underneath all of that organic covering that is there. That bus was, by the way, built in California, constructed here. We found that out when we did our float tour.
So many things you don't think about, like the temperature that they have to keep for in this bus, there were certain criteria, and the temperature for the drivers of the floats.
Yes.
This parade, every detail is looked after, and look at this band. Look at the majesty.
What an aerial view, yes. Wow, still coming around the corner. You know, you mentioned about the drivers. I will tell you, we spoke with some of the float builders, and these drivers will get behind the wheel, or so behind the steering wheel, and they'll be there for 6 to 7 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me tell you about our next band unit. Comes from a vibrant and passionate Latin American nation who brought their best band members across the land to perform their country's most popular rhythms. Coming your way now, the Banda El Salvador, Grande Como Su Gente. We can see their color, we can see their dances, we can see their costuming, and I hope we're going to be able to hear their sounds. They've practiced very hard to be here.
They're coming around the corner. It's taking a little bit for them to make that swing. But this is now, they are now getting that full vision down Colorado Boulevard. Lined with 1 million people, estimated to be.
Here we go. Salvador, Grande Como Su Gente, all started with the power of hope as a way to fight crime. We've heard this story about bands. This was created to give kids a chance to just get off the streets, learn a new skill, be involved in the arts, and they love it. Some great proud parent moments, too, of these close-ups of these faces.
But it is so true to keep these idle hands busy, especially at that young age, and to learn a skill set like this, and then to be rewarded, to be able to participate in such a tradition as the Rose Parade.
Did he just be able to get a wave in while playing that instrument?
Did he?
I love that showmanship.
You got to know where the camera is at all times. Yeah.
We appreciate you.
I will say it takes a village to make this parade happen, a success. And at the Pasadena Tournament of Roses, there are 935 members to this family. We'd like to give a special thanks to some of those. David Eads, Mindy Deneau, Candy Carlson, Jim Champa, Barbie Blake, Vanessa Schultz. Those are just a few, so many, many more
They
that have
drive
helped
us
us.
everywhere we need to go. They
Yes.
give us education about the tournament. They just really do an excellent job with so much care.
And they know so much information about the origins of everything about this parade. All right, so clearly there is hope for 2020. I'm not talking about the year, I'm talking about vision. That's the title of the book this Young Lion Club is reading with his pal, that owl, and some other friends. The Lions Club is focused on the future, and the Cubs' Lima Bean coffee-covered book inspires hope. Sporting his new yellow split-pea spectacles, his body and face are covered in pampas grass, seaweed, and ground white pepper. Now his friend, that owl, wisely sitting on his side there, is decorated in Eranthus plumes and gold clover seed.
Oh, he got his shot stolen. There, we're back on him.
There we go. The Lions Club is the world's largest service organization, serving 1.4 million members proudly, helping people in more than 210 countries. Keep up the good work, Lions Club.
And a big welcome to the Buffalo Soldiers Mounted Cavalry Unit. This troop representing the first African-American soldiers to become members of the United States Army, which happened just after the Civil War in 1867. This team of historical educators pays homage to the black men of the American frontier who surveyed the land, mapped the country, and built roads while serving and protecting the United States.
Thanks to them. And for those of you who prefer an alternative to dairy, you're going to appreciate this nutty design from Blue Diamond Almonds.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, right? You know, California's largest export is almonds. Let me take you through this. From the first seed planted to blooming orchards, abuzz with bees. These Central Valley farmers have been delivering that silky smooth almond milk for more than 100 years. And now the almonds on that almond tree are actually made from real crushed almond shells, which is some good recycling. There are 300 pounds of almonds on this float. But the leaves get that vibrant popping color from green roses. You see some floragraphs on the side of the float. They're made from a combination of millet, pumpkin, and flaxseed. Isn't that beautiful?
It is it's the biggest export, right?
Yes.
In California.
And like I think number 6 in the nation. It's very important for us, for our economy.
That's nutty.
Mark Steinis, I can always count on you. Hope you guys are enjoying your New Year's Day, whether you're watching us curled up in your jammies at home, or you're on the streets, or you're those millions of viewers that are enjoying this with our beautiful shots from Pasadena. We hope this is going to be a fantastic year for you.
A fantastic year and a brand new decade. 2020.
A leap year.
It is a leap year indeed, which means we'll have an extra day in February this year and 366 days before we're right back here. Now listen, when you think of a band whose name has the word hurricane in it, well, you might think big. You're right. You could think bold. You're even more right. And mighty. Well, that's the trifecta, and that's exactly what you get with this next band. It's Mississippi's very own West Harrison Hurricane Band. Listen. started in 2009, and it did so just a few years after Hurricane Katrina ravaged the Mississippi coastline. And it has been a symbol of rebirth, actually, for that community ever since. 270 members strong, 907 students at this high school. More than 200 of them play in the band. That should tell you something right there.
Sure does.
A lot of the band members, by the way, we should say and point out, are top-notch academic stars as well.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. Right?
That is so true. It is so true. And I think their attitude, and of course, when you go back to 2009, you would think, wow, that's been, you know, over a decade ago. And it still has had an impact, you know, and this is a positive impact. But the devastation was just so real back then. And today we see rebirth from it. The Rose Parade would not be possible, however, without the hundreds of volunteers from all over the world who come together to make this day happen. As we mentioned earlier, each flower petal, wood chip, even sesame seed is applied with love to the beautiful floats that you have seen here, all by hand. So thank you to all the volunteers.
The City of Hope didn't have to work too hard in coming up with a theme for this year's float. They are simply being themselves, giving people with life-threatening illnesses a second chance. This is so pretty. It won the Past President Trophy Award for Most Outstanding Innovation in the use of floral and non-floral materials. It is bursting with color. That is the wishing tree, which is like the actual one you see on the campus at City of Hope, which is so inspirational to be there. The trunk is crafted in reddish-brown cress seed, soybeans, and coffee. And look at Father Time's smile. He's a little bit shadowed right there, but it's carved into the tree, filled with wisdom. And just a reminder of how precious life is. You see, that's a symbol of City of Hope there, one of the white doves in flight. It's made from powdered rice. Really stands for new beginnings for the patients. And you see City of Hope staff, along with patients, riding on today's float. So they say it takes a village, but looks to me like it takes a city.
It does.
If it's a City of Hope.
The City of Hope's motto, by the way, is there is no profit in curing the body if in the process we destroy the soul. Very important to remember that. All right, here we are. The Salvation Army Tournament of Roses Band performing in what is their 101st consecutive Rose Parade, directed once again by Kevin Larson. Listen in. To get your mind around the fact that they have been here for 101 consecutive years is mind-blowing. Joining the group this morning are two bands from the Washington, D.C. area. There's a youth band and adult divisional band. It is the longest consecutive marching band that has performed in the Rose Parade, and they get their start from the small Pasadena Tabernacle Corps band that first appeared in 1920.
Nicely done to their director. This is Kevin Larson's 18th year marching in the parade. And he actually played trombone for the band before that.
You know, his wife is also playing. This is her 18th year marching in the band. She plays an instrument that is called a timbrel.
Oh, like a tambourine.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But she's in there as well. A musical couple. They make beautiful music together, I guess. Would be an easy assumption to make.
Congratulations to Donate Life, winners of the Judges Trophy for Most Outstanding Float Design and Dramatic Impact. Donate Life, reminding us that every day is filled with hope. And to illustrate this, here's Light in the Darkness. This scene from Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights, celebrates the power of unity, light, and love. You see majestic peacocks of blue status and purple dendrobiums symbolizing new life The brass-colored oil lamps, or dia as they're called, flicker with live fire. Clover seed and gold flax give them their lustrous shine. This is a beautiful float. 44 fluorographs are showcased throughout the float, representing those who have given the ultimate gift of life to others. Red millet, nigella seeds, cinnamon, and ginger, just a few of the materials used to carefully craft those precious memories.
One of our favorites.
Yes.
And this looks like we've just stepped into an old Western movie set. This is the Spirit of the West Riders, preserving, our nation's American Western heritage. So whether it's a cowboy from the 1870s, a horse soldier from the early 1900s, or a side-saddled lady in a long layered skirt, each rider is a living tribute to the equestrians who pioneered our American frontier. And when you see these equestrian units, you need to remember that volunteers are involved here too, because after the horses come by, there's a team of all-female, I understand, poop scoopers.
Oh, really?
Yes, who come by to make sure the parade route is pristine.
Well, we need to keep that clean, right? All cleaned up. Yes. All right, committed to imagining new ways to better serve their customer. Farmers Insurance brings us this. Claims that are both zany and true. Traveling up the conveyor belt of hope is the title of this. It's a mad science lab of green springerai and lavender mums, ruined vehicles and flooded homes being x-rayed and repaired behind a flashing LED screen, which, by the way, Lisa, we talked about how everything needs to be covered on the float with organic material. Well, in this case, they had to get a waiver cleared by the Rose Float Committee, Float Committee, in order to have that. So there's silver leaf gears and a circuit board with flashing orange lentil tracer lights powered this high-tech machine and allowed them to have that waiver so they could have that LED screen. Very creative. Karma prides itself on great customer service and giving back to their local communities, and Karma has it as they recently were awarded a great place to work.
They do a great job with their float too. I always find it so imaginative.
Yeah, and some of the
really
stuff
fun.
is based off of real claims.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, which is a little alarming.
I'm Lisa Gibbons.
Mark Steinis, and we're with Micah Ullman, and we are in Pasadena, California, watching a brand new year unfold as it does traditionally here for the last 131 years. Rose Parade presented by Honda.
And here they come around the corner, our very own, the talented Los Angeles Unified All-District High School Honor Band. This is a collection of some of LA's finest young musicians. They're comprised of brass and percussionists, drum majors, shield carriers, and tall flags. This band moment brought to us by our friends at Honda. Specifically designed to give LAUSD students the opportunity to march in the Rose Parade, and they are doing so this year as the largest band in this parade, 380 members strong, Los Angeles Unified Honor Band. The program has served more than 14,000 students since it started in 1973. This is director Tony White's 31st Rose Parade. He grew up in Los Angeles and played the cymbals in both his high school band and this honor band. Congrats, Tony. Assistant director, marching with the honor band for the 35th time. He has been a mainstay in the band as associate director. All of us in Southern California so proud of the LAUSD honor band.
Oh my gosh, this one is stunning. And it won the international trophy for most outstanding float from outside the United States. A music box explosion of Taiwan's cultural and physical treasures. China Airlines brings us dreams of flying, wings of hope. Climb aboard this coconut and silver leaf pedaled plane and take flight to the heart of Asia. This float is an amalgamation of elements representing Taiwan, including a bowl of flying noodles made from cranberry and sesame seed, lanterns of orange lentil, and spinning tops from parsley flakes and ground rice. The Taipei 101 skyscraper soars in macaroon blue status and gold clover seed. And here's a little known fact, or I didn't know anyway, the black bear and blue magpie are both native to Taiwan. Congrats on the award,
yes.
China Airlines.
And you see those little red cheeks right there? That is from dehydrated strawberries.
And they painstakingly get the color. They have these secret spices. They blend all of this often in like a kitchen blender.
Yeah.
And they come up with these unbelievable tones and these gradations and varieties.
And then they don't want to share it with other.
And then they won't tell us.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
that's
like, it's a secret. It's a secret. But it's
we
all
want to
the
say to all of our friends, Mark, that have been listening in, our international audience on the AFN networks, especially to our servicemen and women, we don't want our time to close today without saying thank you, and we appreciate you spending your New Year's morning with us.
Yes, and for all the service that you provided and sacrifice that you have given. May this be one of the best years ahead and the best decades ahead. We do have the big moment that's coming up.
Our grand finale moment, as always, presented by Wells Fargo.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to throw the ceremonial 3-mile pass from the Rose Parade to the Rose Bowl Stadium is the newly crowned Miss America, Camille Schreier.
Enjoy the Rose Bowl game.
And now, the Wells Fargo Grand Finale proudly presents the legendary rock and roll band Los Lobos and Hollywood Records recording artist Scary Pool Party.
Just spectacular. We end it the way we began it, with the fireworks and the spectacle and the cheers and Los Lobos.
La Bamba. It never gets old. It never gets old.
Once again, we want to say goodbye to our international audiences. We appreciate you. We thank you. We have had so much fun. I can't think of anything I would rather do than be sitting next to Mark Steinis and have Micah Ullman as our broadcasting partner.
I feel the same way. It's been a spectacular start to a new year and a new decade, Micah.
I tell you what, of all the great moments that you experience, my favorite moment is, frankly, the spirit of the moment itself, the parade. It's such a wonderful, energetic feeling, and in this year in particular, the power of hope. And to think it's a collective experience, unlike really anything else we see and share throughout the year. So it's an absolute thrill to be here and an honor to transmit the experience to those of you watching at home.
And I was going to say I like the Clydesdales, and you had to go. So well put, though.
There were so many firsts, and Mark saw me cheering so many of these strong and powerful women, and we're celebrating the right to vote for women, which was just spectacular. We had a caregiver float this year.
So many things.
So many wonderful things.
Wonderful,
And so with all of that, and I know you had your favorites at home, we have come to the close of our kickoff for 2020. Thank you to not only all of you for sharing it, but our team here at the Rose Parade. We're a big family.
There's a lot of people to say thank you to: the production assistants and the executive producers and the camera operators and whatnot. But there are two people we would be remiss if we did not take a moment to acknowledge and to express our gratitude. That is the president and general manager, Don Corsini, and our vice president and station manager, John Mazolski. Both are retiring. We will sorely miss you. You have been, your leadership has been unparalleled. Your support has been firm and gentle, and such a guiding force for us. Thank you so much.
And a big thank you as well to all of you watching at home across Southern California, across the country, and around the world.
And with that, we will wish you a happy new year for this final time. Our gratitude. Get on those resolutions. I'm Lisa Gibbons.
I'm Mark Steinis.
And I'm Micah Ullman, wishing you all a happy New Year.
Bye-bye.